Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
That's me.
It's Western Wednesday yet again here on the show. We're going to be doing a kind of a newer Western. We're watching The Hateful Eight from Quentin Tarantino.
We sure are, Trent.
Betsy, this is the only Quentin Tarantino movie of the modern age that we haven't seen yet.
Correct. So the only one that you haven't watched of his entire filmography is Jackie Brown,
yeah,
right?
I've never seen Jackie Brown. There's also some stuff that he helped produce and write
stuff
that
he
I don't
wrote.
really count, but this and Jackie Brown are the only two directed by
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino that I haven't seen.
And this is the only one in totality I haven't seen like you.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't really know why. This is one that was obviously very much in the theater. It was very successful. We've heard great things about it, but for whatever reason, we just didn't go see it.
You think it has anything to do with the runtime?
I mean, yes and no, because look at something like Inglourious Bastards. That one's still pretty long, but I saw that in the theater like 3 times. And it has maybe something to do with that. I think because we missed it in the theater, the runtime has really shied us away from sitting down and just watching this. Because you have to plan. You can't just like throw this on at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday because we have lives. We have to get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah, and like I don't know if maybe it was ruined a little bit because this is the controversial thing that happened to Tarantino back in the day when he was writing this. A draft of this movie got leaked onto the internet.
I totally forgot that.
Yeah, and he was really pissed off, and he basically came out and said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm canceling this shit. We're not going to make the movie anymore. You guys ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that, but you're
Yeah.
right. I do remember that.
Now, I imagine that it was not the final draft because, he takes a long time to make his movies.
There's a reason he only has a finite number, and it's a short list.
It is a short list. So suffice it to say, the movie did get released, obviously. Mm-hmm. It came out to pretty good acclaim, but there's still some mixed reviews about it. Not everybody says, I don't think this got nominated for anything.
No, if it had been nominated for Best Picture, we would have seen it because
Sure.
his other ones from the more modern times have all been nominated, and this one was not.
Yeah, he's getting, Oscar nominations in his thing. Like Brad Pitt won for his performance. Christoph Waltz won twice.
Well, and even Jennifer Jason Leigh got nominated for this movie.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah, she's supposed to be amazing in this.
Okay.
But the movie itself didn't get nominated.
Okay. Maybe it's because it's kind of a mess with all of the different actors in it. Because there's a ton of people here. It's 8 people.
Well, that's not
Big
the only
names.
time he's done that. He's done that plenty of times. But as I understand it, this is like a play. And there's 2 things I know about this movie. And it's that they've actually talked about adapting this for the stage because it's like watching a play and you could do it. And 2, that we're watching the theatrical cut, but there's a director's cut that's even longer.
That's like an hour longer than this. We're not going to watch the director's cut. We got the Blu-ray of the original version. That's what we're watching.
We'll watch the theatrical cut, and then maybe someday we'll watch the director's cut. But we got to get through this one first. Do you know anything about that cut? Like, do you know if it's more well received or anything?
I have no idea.
I don't know anyone who's watched it.
I think he just kind of dropped it on Netflix and just let it be.
Just here it is.
Yep.
Peace out.
It's like putting out the extended edition of the Lord of the Rings stuff, where the fans are probably way into it, but the rest of the casual viewing audience couldn't care less.
I don't know. I feel like you should probably all seek out the extended editions. Now that I've seen them, it's the only version I want to watch of Lord of the Rings.
Well, that's the thing. We're a bunch of fucking nerds
We
who love
are,
that shit.
But I feel like there's just enough that adds to the story that now feels more clarifying and necessary for me.
It is.
That I'll sit through your 5-hour movie. I don't care.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about. We haven't seen the movie yet, but an extended edition of this movie, I don't know what else you could throw into it because it's one singular story. Like, this isn't some big epic tale. From my understanding, it is these 8 people who are all outlaws who get hole up in a house in the middle of a blizzard. That's my understanding of this movie.
Okay, do you know anything else about this, or is that kind of the
I mean,
long and short of
I
it?
know some actors. That's about it.
I know he taps back into his bass players. So he's got Sam Jackson.
Yeah, who is in most everything.
Tim Roth is in this, who was in Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
You've got Kurt Russell.
Yep.
He had done, what was the one? I guess we haven't seen
He
the
did
Grindhouse thing.
Yeah,
That's the
I
exception.
haven't seen the Grindhouse stuff.
And I don't know. That's one of those that I count, but I also don't count it because it's so like niche.
That whole thing was a collaboration with Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And it's more, some of it is more Tarantino than Rodriguez and vice versa. So I take it as a big package. I don't count that as just a Tarantino joint or a Robert Rodriguez joint.
Okay.
It's all one thing, but they both have they dip their toes in each item of it.
Yeah. You've also got Jennifer Jason Leigh, as I mentioned.
Bruce Dern.
I was trying to remember. Okay, those are the ones I could think of immediately.
Yeah.
Is the guy from Kill Bill in this? Michael Madsen?
Madsen is in this movie.
Is he in this one?
He was in Reservoir Dogs.
And he was in Kill Bill. Volumes 1 and 2.
Yes.
And I don't know the other two. We're up to 6.
I can't remember.
So we know most of the cast. And you're right. They get holed up somewhere. And Jennifer Jason Leigh is like being taken in because she's been arrested. One of these people is a lawman, I think. And... she is supposed to be just this angry little spitfire.
If you've never seen the TV show Deadwood, it's kind of like Calamity Jane in Deadwood. My understanding is she's this foul-mouthed, like, I don't know.
Playing against type.
Sure. like there's nothing like gentle and feminine about her.
No, she's an ass kicker and they kick her ass too. She takes it and she gives it.
So, I don't know. I've always wanted to watch this movie because it is a Tarantino thing. If for nothing else to complete the filmography, eventually we will watch Jackie Brown and include that in some series later. But for now, because we're watching Westerns, and we haven't even talked about the fact that it's a Western at all.
Yes, it is a Western. That's why it's being included.
Yeah, this is a very, very modern Western. Like, we just watched something from 1992, and we called that a modern Western.
This is even more modern.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's go watch The Hateful Eight. We will be right back. And we're back. That was The Hateful Eight, Betsy. Yeah. What'd you think of that one?
I'd watch that play.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're not kidding. There is so much dialogue. This whole movie is dialogue.
Yeah.
This is not the Tarantino we have seen up to this point in most of his movies, where it's a lot of jumping around and playing with time.
A lot of settings.
No, there is a coach, and there is a one room haberdashery, which is not what that is. In case you guys don't know, dear listeners, a haberdasher makes hats, but whatever.
It makes men's clothing.
Hats, specifically. That's what they do. Anyway, and it's not a drag. It's a lot of setup, and everything that they say is relevant, and everything that everyone says might also be a lie. And nobody trusts anybody, and everybody is suspicious of everybody else. And we know that something is going down, we just don't know what. But for the most part, for being nearly 3 hours long, it didn't feel like that. Like at the very beginning, it was a little bit slow, but once you got like accustomed to the rhythm, I just sort of rolled with it.
Yeah, and we just, before we started recording here, we kind of compared notes, just the length of our notes. And for a movie this long, I didn't take a lot of notes Because in reality, there's not much that happens. It's just like you said, it's set up, it is introducing these characters, you get a little bit of backstory, and then a little bit of motivation.
Yes.
And for the purposes of this movie, I think the length actually complements it, because if you didn't get a lot of those details, you wouldn't get the satisfying ending.
Absolutely. And for the most part, the names aren't that hard to remember. Like some movies like this, when there's so many people that you meet very quickly, it's like, I don't know, it's John, Paul, George, Ringo. I don't know what their names are. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, these guys don't have too complicated names. You know, there's like Joe, Gage, and Bob.
Sure.
But then there's also people like Daisy Dummergoo, which is like, what? Okay, that's a name.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Oswaldo.
Right.
Something or other.
And unlike you, I didn't really get a lot of their names. I just, because I knew all the actors, I did kind of what you did in the last Nick Cage movie we watched. I just saw the actors. So when I'm talking about this movie, I'm just going to say the actors' names because that's how I wrote them down in my notes.
Sam Jackson, Tim Roth, Jennifer Jason Leigh. That's
all that
what
shit.
we're going to call them
That's what
because
we're gonna
that's
do.
who they are.
So as long as we're talking about the actors here, we had a few people that we didn't know about going in. Number one of the people who are in the 8, Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins is a delightful character actor.
I love Walton Goggins.
And this is one of Tarantino's greatest strengths, is casting people in his movies in a way that is often unexpected. Like in Kill Bill, nobody really saw somebody like David Carradine? One of the Carradines.
Yeah.
As that character. Or he did the same thing where he put Don Johnson in Django Unchained.
Yeah, and in that movie, I didn't know he was going to be in that at all. And
no.
Again, he just fit. Don Johnson was a guy you hadn't heard from in, 5-10 years?
Something like that. Isn't Jonah Hill also in that movie?
No,
Somebody
I don't think
like
so.
that. There's somebody like that. I haven't watched Django in a really long time, so I'm going to have to go
I've only
investigate.
seen it a couple of times.
But yeah, he just takes these weird character actors or people that it's like, why are you in a Tarantino movie? And for some reason it works. He did it here. Like Walton Goggins fits more, I think, because he is a character actor, and
he's
I buy
also
it.
a Southern character actor.
He is, with a name like Walton Goggins. And Jennifer Jason Leigh, she's 5'3" and just this mean bitch. And she is disgusting and dirty and foul-mouthed and angry.
She has a presence in this movie, for sure.
Absolutely.
Before we move on from Walton Goggins, so my origin from loving Walton Goggins is from a show that I've mentioned on this podcast before. He was on The Shield back in the early to mid 2000s.
It put FX on the map.
It really did, and he was the partner of Michael Chiklis's character, the main guy in that movie, in that show. And I don't know, Betsy, just something in that he just committed all the way in everything that he was doing. He played a dumb hick in that one to an extent, but he also had some humanity in him. And by the end of that show, not to spoil the entire series of The Shield,
he takes a turn.
He takes a turn and ends up being a bad guy. But
they're already bad guys. He turns out to be a worse guy.
it turns into a guy that you can't really sympathize with.
No, he becomes unforgivable as a character at a certain degree.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, he's in this. He's also in Lincoln.
He's in Lincoln, which
he
is
plays kind of a schmuck like that
thing.
too.
Well, he plays a coward in that.
Yeah. So you've definitely seen this guy in something. He was the villain in the remake of Tomb Raider a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was in that new Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider
which
thing,
we haven't
watched, seen. I don't really want to.
We were like, oh, hey, it's Walton Goggins.
I just love that he's getting work.
And when you were putting him toe-to-toe in this cast, where you've got multiple Oscar nominees.
And he has put in a fucking Spielberg movie with Lincoln and Tarantino movie dude, you've made it.
Yeah, he held his own and then some in this movie against people like Kurt Russell, who's had a career for 40 years, and Sam Jackson, and Tim Roth, who maybe isn't a household name, but is a known actor.
He is a very respected actor.
Absolutely. He's re-entering the Marvel universe.
That's true.
We watched The Incredible Hulk not that long ago.
Yeah.
And, of course, that was the one movie that just sort of, they shuffled a little bit to the side, and we don't need to talk about that.
But they're slowly reintroducing that into the MCU as, okay, maybe that movie wasn't so bad. We can take some little bits out of it.
Yep, so he showed up in Shang-Chi, and now he's going to be on She-Hulk. Because why not?
Why not? Maybe he's only going to be in one scene, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're off track.
We're off track. And then, of course, you have Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Again.
No idea.
I forgot that he was in this, or if I knew it all. I feel like I did know he was in this movie.
I did not.
But he is not on screen for 2/3 of it. Yeah. And then when he shows up, he's only in it for about 4.5 minutes.
Pretty much.
For screen time, when you put it all together. And again, why did that work? Channing Tatum doesn't usually show up in these kinds of roles, and I believed it.
He is not an actor.
Which is really kind of a shame, because when you are given the right director, they can sometimes bring it out of you. And Tarantino is a great guy to bring that thing out of you, as I am. That's my whole point to this diatribe. But yeah, he shows up, and I'm like, I believe it. And then he dies. Spoilers! But then again, in good Tarantino fashion, most of the cast dies.
Jesus Christ, Betsy. I kind of forgot how much Tarantino loves his bloodiness.
Carnage.
Just, oh my God. This might be like the worst one. As far as like amping it up to 11, besides when in Inglourious Bastards they shoot Hitler's face off amongst every other thing about him.
That whole scene escalates very quickly.
Right, and like them carving swastikas into people's foreheads and shit like that. Like that I can understand, because everybody wants to see Hitler die in anything that he's in. Mm-hmm. So this, however, woof. You got people having their faces blown clean off. You have people's arms cut off. You have people hung. You have people getting their nuts shut off. You have people getting shot in the leg and the arm and the gut.
Poisoned and puking blood everywhere.
Right, and by the way, Tim Roth got shot in the belly again.
Yes, he did.
Little nod
Reservoir
to
Dogs
Inglourious,
fans.
To Reservoir Dogs, yep.
And it's not just the fact that somebody is like puking up blood, it's that they keep pouring all that blood onto Jennifer Jason Leigh's face.
And you were not wrong in the intro. You said, oh yeah, she doles it out as much as she gets it. Not quite. She gets just wow.
She doesn't give as much as she receives.
No, she would love to. She would love to dole it out.
Every opportunity she tries, she spits. She gets punched.
Right.
She says something sassy.
She sasses
gets
off,
whipped with a gun.
Right.
She is, making a big speech and gets shot in the foot. And yet, like, she loses teeth and she's spitting them out. And the last, 20 minutes of the movie, she is just covered in blood.
She is covered in, like, everything.
And brain matter.
Yeah.
Her hair.
Her brother's brain got sprayed all over her face.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So,
and it wasn't until that happened that she seemed upset about it.
Right. But then she just sort of dealt with it. Like, just started kind of squeezing it out. It's just like,
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like the plot and everything, it's fairly simple to understand, but this is almost like a whodunit, a murder mystery.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, you get everybody into a room, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Now,
hence the play concept.
Right. And it's not like, okay, there's this big mystery and we need to find out who hit the butler over the head with a candlestick. It's less complex than that, but at the same time, this is still, man, I barely even want to call this a Western.
It
Like,
just
the
happens
fact-
to take place in the Old West.
Yeah, the fact that it is taking place in the late 1800s in
Wyoming,
Wyoming
in the mountains,
has, little to do with it.
Post-Civil War,
Yeah.
and you've got a lot of people talking about the North and the South
Right.
and race.
That was a cool dynamic. And of course, it's Quentin Tarantino. He's going to throw a bunch of racial stuff in here.
Yeah, he used that word a lot,
N-words
didn't he?
all over this thing. And again, it's Tarantino. I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to say it's okay. It's just how he does things.
Contextually, it is at least, it makes more sense than in
context,
his modern movies.
In context, sure.
It is unusual that a white man likes to write that word as much as he does.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's
Whatever.
a different topic.
Whatever.
But it's a stagecoach, 2 bounty hunters. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it starts with 1 bounty hunter and his bounty.
Yep.
And then another bounty hunter, and then the guy who is supposedly going to be the sheriff of this town they're heading towards.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a snowstorm they're trying to outrun, but they're not going to outrun it. So they stop at this depot, and there's already a few people there. A cowboy who says he's going to visit his mama, an old Civil War general, a uppity British man who says he's the hangman.
Yep.
And then a Hispanic guy who says, oh, they went around the other side of the mountain.
Yeah, the owners of
are
this
gone.
establishment put me in charge.
I'm in charge. And so it's very simple. So we've got, the guy who drives the coach, and we've got all these people.
Yeah.
And we don't know that there is another person in the basement. So
Yeah.
there is somebody in the basement the whole time this movie is going on.
Yeah.
And they're giving you all the little clues. So, like, Kurt Russell is suspicious from the beginning, and he says, give me your guns. So he takes away his guns.
Because his bounty is worth 10 G's.
And he is going to keep it by God.
Uh-huh.
By God. There's just little, like, pieces. They're giving you all the little clues. So he's looking around and he's suspicious. And Sam Jackson is looking around and he's suspicious. Like, there's a jelly bean in the crack on the floor. And every time there's the sequence where somebody poisons the coffee pot is always in the shot in a lot of...
In focus.
In focus in a lot of the different angles. And, the door has been blown off. The handle, it won't latch. And they just keep screaming, you gotta nail it! You gotta nail it,
I like
shut!
that. I like that running joke there.
And yeah, there were a couple of those running gags. But there's just little pieces. And there's enough to make you suspicious of everybody as well. Like any good murder, we're locked in this cabin and someone here is a murderer. But of course, the big twist, the big reveal is they're all in on it. So the 4 guys who were there showed up earlier in the day and killed everybody and just took control of the situation.
And Bruce Dern, the old general in the chair, is only alive because he's not a threat to anybody.
He can keep his mouth shut.
He can keep his mouth shut. He can go along with things.
Yep. But they just sort of set up the dominoes one by one in this movie where it's like, you're going to die and you're going to die and you're going to die and I'm just going to make sure that happens.
It is very possible that nobody survives this house because they still got to stay there for another couple of days. They are bleeding the fuck out.
Yeah,
Maybe Walton Goggins is going to survive because he got shot in the leg. He can survive that.
Our 2, quote, heroes, if you will.
There's no heroes
There
in
are
this.
no heroes. No honor amongst thieves and no heroes in this movie. Yeah, and they have... one of the moments I liked was when Tim Roth is playing his little character as the hangman, and he gives the speech about frontier justice.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this movie is.
Right.
Is, you could take somebody in and they could have a trial and they could do this.
And there's going to be... we still have this bounty thing where you're going to get paid off by taking this person out in whatever fashion that it is.
Yep.
And they didn't really say anything about, dead or alive. Normally, when you bring somebody in dead, you get less money. When it's alive, you get all the money.
You get more.
Yeah.
Yep. And
trying to encourage less of the frontier justice.
And most of the bounty hunters don't give a fuck, and it's much easier to just haul a pile of dead bodies.
Right.
And so he gave that little speech, and then, of course, what we see ensue here is frontier justice. Because the whole dichotomy between the black what was he, a captain?
Major,
excuse me. So Sam Jackson's character was a major in the Union Army.
Yeah.
And this guy was a general in the Southern Army. And he almost shoots the old man, but of course they start, oh no, he is unarmed and that would be murder. So what does he do? He sets a gun next to him and then eggs him on until he tries to shoot him.
He tells this story about his son, which, man, this man can tell a tale, can he not?
What a web he weaves.
Both of them, Tarantino and Sam Jackson, because he's a hell of a storyteller.
He believes everything he is selling. And here's the deal. Do you think everything he said in this movie is bullshit?
Yes.
From beginning to end.
From beginning to end. He does not care.
Because, of course, his whole thing is he's carrying around this letter from Abraham Lincoln, and somebody calls bullshit, and he's like, of course it's bullshit.
Of course it's bullshit. You all are a bunch of fucking crackers. You're gonna believe anything that I say because I say it so eloquently.
And because you will buy this line of bull, because I have enough clout of my surrounding.
I have my charisma about me, and I have this reputation.
Well, and people would believe you were in the military, especially because he's wearing a military kind of style coat.
Yep.
So he has enough clues about him that, well, that stuff's true. The other part must be true.
Right.
So for him to have this letter, people believe it. And when they call bullshit, Kurt Russell's so like, aw, you made me feel stupid.
Did I hurt your feelings?
Yeah, he hurt his feelings. So yeah, he tells this long, drawn-out story about Bruce Dern's son.
Yeah.
And how he was there the day he died because his son came to collect the bounty on him.
Yeah.
But he made it go a different way. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck knows? They film it. They display it on the screen for the audience because Bruce Dern is imagining it now.
Exactly. Yeah. Sam Jackson says, I bet you're picturing it now, aren't you? Yeah.
Yep. So saying anything he can to egg him on. But yeah, you have to assume that is all bullshit and he just wanted to shoot him. He needed an excuse.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Bruce Dern is great in this.
Yeah.
And Walton Goggins is great in this. And Tim Roth is great. I love that Tim Roth had 2 different British accents. Did you catch that?
I did catch that.
When he's in character, he's, hello, I'm Oswaldo, banana pie, auspicious doo-doo-doo. I don't know what his name is. And then the other time he's like, yeah, governor, I could do that.
And he's insulted because someone compares his accent to the New Zealander's accent.
Yeah. What's with Tarantino recently throwing in like Australians and New Zealanders in his movies?
A lot of Australians and New Zealanders are getting very popular.
I know, but he's doing it contextually in a strange way in a strange time. So he did it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He showed up, remember? He's in the movie and he plays an Australian director or something. So the 1960s, I'll forgive that, but this is the Old West and she's from New Zealand. Had anybody from New Zealand or Australia made it to America by that point?
I have no idea. Was that even a country by then? Who the fuck knows?
I'm sure it was a country.
I don't know.
In the very least, they had budding cities, but I don't know. It was just a weird touch. Like, she was a good character actor. I thought she was interesting. But just contextually, why? What was the point of that?
I don't know.
Just a thought.
Speaking of Quentin Tarantino and things that he's been doing, I didn't see any feet. You know, it's true. It's true. I've seen YouTube videos of people putting in like compilations of all of the feet shit in his movies.
Listen, he finally painted himself into a corner, a movie where it made no sense for anyone to have their shoes off because it's a blizzard.
And it's all dudes except for a blood-covered woman.
And the only foot thing we get is that she gets shot in her toe.
God damn it. That's the only thing.
That's all you get. He's like, all you people here for the feet? Well, this is what you get.
But then he followed it up with like the ultimate foot fetish movie with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because there are 2 lady actors in that just with their dirty feet up in the screen, up on the camera.
You know, the one I remember, and you haven't seen this, is I hadn't really noticed that was a thing, or I hadn't heard it was a thing, because in the early 2000s, the internet wasn't exactly the same thing.
Right.
So when I was in college, I had seen Kill Bill, and there's some feet stuff in that. And then I watched Jackie Brown, and there is a scene in which somebody has their feet on the table, and they're like rubbing their toe on the rim of a glass.
Yeah.
And that was so unsettling to me, because I was like, what are you touching that? You put that in your mouth.
We will cover that when we cover Jackie Brown.
But that was the one that stuck with me. And yeah, like I said, he painted himself into a corner. You want to have a blizzard in the Old West on a mountaintop? Ain't nobody taking their shoes off. There's no justifiable reason for it. So I'm sorry if you were here for the feet. You are now very disappointed.
And we're not kink shaming. It's just not for us.
No feet for us. What else? This movie has a lot of the quintessential Tarantino moments, like that thing he likes to do where he plays music really, really loudly,
Yeah, and then it just cuts to nothing.
Silence.
Yeah.
Nothing. So he does that. There's some interesting shots with lighting. Like they use a lot of natural lighting in here. Did you notice it's not that there's holes per se in the roof, but there's like weird patches of light getting through.
Yeah.
What is that? Because there's like a tiny bit of snow, but clearly is it a screen? Like, how are you accomplishing this?
So like the light from the ceiling, I can't really tell.
Yeah, there's like multiple places that it looks like there are holes in the roof.
Yeah.
And like a screen or some way the light is getting in, but not all the snow. There's a little snow coming in.
Well, yeah, and if this is a blizzard, the roof would be covered in snow. So there really shouldn't be any light coming in the ceiling, even if there's a hole. I mean,
maybe there's just a light up there that I couldn't see, a lantern or something.
It's possible. But
a big antler chandelier.
I don't know. But like the walls, like the snow kind of coming in the cracked walls, because this is not a great thing. There's no insulation.
No, it's
There's
just
nothing.
wood.
It's just wood. It's logs
No
put
one
together.
takes their coats off, let alone their shoes.
Exactly. So you get a lot of that snow kind of coming in, and the wind sound was very prominent throughout the entire movie because it's a fucking blizzard.
Out in the middle of
nowhere. And we
nowhere.
know blizzards because we live through them every day.
And there's no trees to stop it.
Right. They're out in the middle of nowhere. So I get like the setting here, having the light coming in, the snow kind of coming in too, them having to keep their coats on, and none of them sleep. Like they're there for what? How long do you think they're there? About a day?
Oh God, I would say they're probably there like not even overnight. This probably all ends in like the middle of the night, because they're there when the sun is still up, and they're all dead before morning.
I don't know.
They're eating dinner, and then that's when it kind of escalates, because they're all eating stew.
I guess.
And then I'd really only give it a few hours after that. So, I mean, maybe midnight, 1, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't think they're here that long.
Fair enough.
Because Kurt Russell gives this whole speech about somebody's on her side and they don't have any patience. Meanwhile, they all have a tremendous amount of patience, except for one guy who can't wait any longer and poisons everybody's coffee, and then it goes downhill very quickly.
So, was it actually Michael Madsen who poisoned it? I know he said he did it. It was either him or Tim Roth.
Yeah, by process of elimination, it has to be one of them, unless in the chaos, Channing Tatum was able to sneak out.
Right.
But I don't think it was him, because she seems surprised to see him
Also,
later.
there's only one way in and out of that floor in the cellar.
It would be too obvious if he did it. So, yeah, I think when Michael Madsen says he did it, he did poison the coffee.
It was one of those two guys, for sure.
Yeah, and also going back to things Tarantino did, he narrates part of this movie.
Right, and we had to verify who is saying this? Why are you very in detail, this is a book, you're the omniscient narrator telling the audience what's going on.
This is one of those things he likes to do, and I think it works to varying success.
Putting himself in the movie?
No, not putting himself in the movie, just having a narrator for one scene of the movie. He did it in Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, Sam Jackson does that for one of the characters when he's introduced.
Yeah, he does it there, and that's kind of the only other time he's done it, and it's weird, but it works, and here it's weird, but it works. I think
I didn't have a problem with it.
No, it was mostly distracting because we were trying to figure out whose voice that was.
Yeah. And like he was like very, very detailed about how he is describing everything happening. And he was like even saying, yeah, this character, she knows what's going on. And that's why the chapter is called this.
Daisy has a secret.
Right. He's referring to a chapter. That is the only thing that really puts me over the edge, saying, what are you doing here?
He's breaking the fourth wall.
You're breaking the fourth wall. Just be a narrator and that's it.
But I'm a little torn on it. Like, I think you need the audience to know she knows.
Yes.
I think there are other ways you could have done it. You could have just shown her looking. It's just more interesting the way he did it to have a narration.
If you showed that, though, the way the movie was shot, you would have seen who was doing it.
Nah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't mind that there was a narrator. I just wish that the narrator had come in different parts of the movie and didn't talk about the chapter names.
It was too referential.
Yes.
Okay, fair. Another thing about this one, so we talked about how Jennifer Jason Leigh got nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this movie.
Yep.
This one also won for original score for Ennio Morricone.
All right.
Are you familiar with Ennio Morricone?
No.
This man is the quintessential composer of the spaghetti western in the 1960s and 70s.
Shit, yes. I did know that. I forgot.
Yes.
I did hear about him being a part of the movie, not about him winning.
Yes, he won, and that was the only time that man won an Oscar.
Oh, shit. Wow.
He was like 80-some years old, and then he died like 2 years ago or something.
Wow, okay.
So he had been nominated a few times, but he is just, if you ask somebody, okay, think about a Western, go back to Westerns of the 60s and 70s. What music do you think of? Can you think of a tune? I'll give you one.
Yes.
Anything like that is Ennio Morricone. This is his bread and butter. And the fact that he was able to talk that man into composing for his movie, that's somebody that Tarantino has spent a lifetime idolizing.
Oh,
so
sure.
I know this was a huge, huge fucking get for him.
And just Tarantino in general. We talked about John Ford in the Liberty Valance movie we covered. That was a John Ford joint, and Tarantino idolizes John Ford, much like a lot of modern directors do and have. Tarantino got his start loving movies by watching Westerns. So for him to be able to actually do a Western, but in his own style, I think is very special for him.
Oh, you're right. This is very much more a Tarantino movie than it is a Western.
I barely count this as a Western.
But I don't know how else you would do this story.
You're right.
If not as a Western.
It is more of a period piece, and that's just another way of saying Western, because Western implies you are placing this setting in 1800s America.
Well, we're back in Wyoming.
In the West and not in the East.
Correct. So we're back in Wyoming. There's mountains. There's cowboys.
Carriages, horses, haberdasheries.
There's little towns that only a handful of people live in. There's bad guys and gangs. And the stagecoach, I noticed, I was like, wait, isn't that on the stagecoach they're on the same name as the one in Liberty Valance? And it was, because that's a real company.
It was
that
a
existed.
real company, yeah.
And I didn't know that until I looked that up. So there you go. Good on you. Historical accuracy.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about something very unique about this movie. They made a big deal about this is a 70 millimeter print of this movie, and they did a tour around the country displaying this movie in movie theaters in its intended format.
Yeah, I think the closest movie theater to us that showed this was in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I know I saw it up there. Somebody I knew, I think, went to it. But yeah, this started, and I just suddenly looked at the aspect ratio, and the bars are much wider. And I was
super
like,
wide.
Oh, yeah, this was made in like a weird millimeter.
Yeah. So it is like double the... I don't even know how to describe it, but it's basically double the width of a normal film print. It goes from 35 millimeters to 70 millimeters, which is to say you can see wider. You have a wider field of view, the camera does, but it is a narrower, like, vertical.
But he didn't actually do this on film, did he?
He did.
He did?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he just did this digital, but with that kind of angled lens. That's interesting. Well, we'll have to look into that.
I think so.
But yeah, it literally just references the size of the film that they are running through the camera.
Yeah.
And most movies, once upon a time when they used film, was 35 millimeter. Double it, and you get 70.
Well, and it's still shot in like the 35 millimeter is still the format that most films are shot in. It's just a digital form of that.
Right.
This is just like the chosen aspect ratio because of the wide angle that he really wanted to get. He wanted to get as much of that room in frame as much as he could because there's so many actors, there's so much details
and
here.
You can go back to movies when they started using this aspect ratio back in like the 60s and the 50s. A lot of westerns and epics, like something like the fucking 10 Commandments, where every inch of that screen has like hundreds of extras in it.
Yeah.
Those usually were done on that 70 millimeter.
Right. And when you have a whole lot of like landscape shots, which there are a few in this movie.
This movie's gorgeous up in the fucking mountains and there's snow everywhere.
Yeah, looks
I bought it.
Really good.
But yeah, you're right. They made this print and they could only show it at a certain number of theaters because most of them don't even have the equipment or the screen size more particularly.
Yeah, it's really the screen size more than anything else because if you put, like, we have a 65-inch TV that we watch all of our stuff on in the basement here, and it's as if it was a smaller TV because you get so much of those black bars that you normally don't get when you watch regular content. You need a much larger screen to get more of that detail, all that content in your eyeballs.
We're not getting a bigger TV trend. You cannot have an 85-inch screen.
Shit. We just got this one last year.
But I forgot that this was a thing about this movie until the second the movie started and I see this landscape of mountains. I was like, oh, wait a second. I'm remembering something. But yeah, it was cool. It was worth it. I get why he chose that.
You don't notice it in most movies when they have a wider aspect ratio or wider field of view. But in this movie, you absolutely needed to have it.
But remember back in the day when you were watching things on, say, a VHS? Remember those kids? They were formatted to fit on a 3x5 television.
Which is to say, they had to zoom the quote-unquote camera into the frame, into the widescreen frame, and cut off like the top of the film, the side of the film, the bottom of the film, whatever, in order to fill that screen with whatever it was.
And to varying success, I can think of a movie as recently as like the early 2000s that I owned on a tape. And there's a scene with two characters in a car and you're looking at them through the front windshield. So you've got one on the left, one on the right. And because of the way they had to cut it, you can't see either of them.
Right.
You see half of one face, half of another, and a big empty space between them. Because it's the best they could do to format that movie.
And that was before they really knew how to do the digital, what they call pan and scan.
Yep.
So pan and scan is that concept. It's zoomed into the frame to make it a 4x3 frame, except they are digitally moving the camera to the left and to the right and up and down just to be able to see the content that is normally cut off the sides of the screen.
You know who managed to avoid a lot of that? Tarantino in this movie, because there's a lot of panning. He does a lot of like circular, like we're on the left side of the room and we're just going to spin over here and follow these characters to the right side of the room.
What I really liked was the scene near the end where Jennifer Jason Leigh is having her little speech and it's panning all the way around her slowly as she's doing her speech while she is talking to Walton Goggins.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes.
I was so engrossed with what she was saying, I wasn't paying attention to the film.
It goes from her left side all the way to her right side.
Huh. Nope. Missed that completely. I was so engrossed in what she was saying.
Yes.
I didn't notice the camera moving at all.
Yeah.
Huh.
Good acting.
Good acting.
And good directing.
So yeah, she earned her nomination. I ain't mad about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. One last thing here before we get out of here was this movie has an extended edition of it that is presented only on Netflix to my knowledge. Now, we ended up watching this on a Blu-ray disc, but the extended version is apparently converted from a movie into an episodic TV show, like a miniseries kind of a thing.
That's right. I forgot they did it that way.
And there are apparently 32 extra minutes of footage.
See, if you split it up like that, then I could sit through all of that content. But if I'm sitting here watching it in one long movie, then it
and
might
maybe
be
you're
long.
giving the extra context to some other things.
Maybe.
But yeah, an extra half hour to this movie, but it's in chunks. I don't know.
I mean, now that I've seen it, I'm certainly intrigued, but we'll see. I'm not in any mad dash to commit that much of my life to a certain property all at once.
Well, like, what did they do? Was it the Buster Scruggs, that Coen Brothers thing that they did for Netflix? That was an episodic Western.
I thought that was a movie.
No, that was an episodic thing.
I'm so confused now.
Yeah.
Well, one day we'll have to investigate that too. I don't know how it is, but another Western for another time.
Another Western series down the road. Betsy, we are 3 Westerns down in our 4-episode set. The next one is going to be, let's just say, a little different.
Indeed, Trent. A little bit.
But until we get there, let's read an email.
Okay, we've got an email from Mitch from Saskatoon called Superfans.
Superfans, we got those.
We do have those. Hello, I just wanted to say I'm so glad you guys are getting more Superfans.
So are we.
So are we. It was nice to see you remembered me as well. I am so touched. We would never forget you, Mitch from Saskatoon. I love that you are doing the Western Wednesdays, since I have never watched one from start to finish.
You know, it's not surprising I assume you're about our age. And, you know, I'm of the opinion that Westerns are an important part of film history, but they are more easily dismissed as, oh, they just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall. It's easy to make. There's no dialogue. It's just for dumb people.
Or that's a movie for my dad, not for me.
Whatever. It's for a different generation. But they are very important to actually have an understanding of if you can appreciate how far film has come.
Absolutely. I think it's worth checking out. I haven't seen enough to tell you which ones you should avoid. That's why we're doing this.
Sure.
Back to the email. It helps to broaden my film repertoire. I am even more excited about the Cage-a-thon, perhaps one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Even your favorite quarterback is in on the action, as Aaron Rodgers recently showed up to the NFL training camp dressed up exactly as Cameron Poe of Con Air fame.
Yes, he did.
He needs to write in.
That's right.
Yes,
send this episode to Aaron Rodgers, number 12 himself.
We are Packers fans in this house. If you're alienated by that, well, that's too bad for you.
Too bad.
He continues, along the line somewhere, you talked about starting movies and not finishing them, and eventually you get to it. Yeah, that's kind of our thing lately.
Yeah, very much so. Like in the past couple of weeks, we have started probably 3 or 4.
We finished most of them.
But we finish them. Like, there was a movie just this morning that we started weeks ago, before we even went on vacation, that we finished today.
We sure did. That's how I watch every movie nowadays, as I get maybe 5 to 10 minutes, need to tend to a kid, and then it's the next day I continue. It's actually about the only way I have ever listened to this podcast as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mo and Stephanie, the Superfans.
Yeah.
Cordially yours, distinguished contributor Mitch, in parentheses, from Saskatoon.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch. Yes, we appreciate that even with your busy life of children and work and all of the other things, and Canada, that you find time in your day to give us a little attention, even if it takes you a week to get through every episode.
Or one episode.
Yeah, so thank you for sending that email. We appreciate you listening and reaching out.
And for the shout outs to our other superfans.
Absolutely. That goes for all of you superfans and all you listeners.
And all the regular fans out there as well, I guess.
There's nothing regular about them. They're our fans. They're amazing.
They're all superfans. Wait.
If you all start emailing, we will officially dub you all superfans.
So, how do you apply to be a superfan? Well, it's easy, guys.
Tell us how.
Email us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. That's how you get the ball rolling.
That's one way.
You can follow us on Twitter, neverseenit_pod. We have fairly new pages on Facebook and Instagram. The names over there are Never Seen It Pod 1. That's the digit 1, the numeral 1. Support the show as well. Click the link in the podcast description. If you want to throw us $1 on there, we would appreciate it. But if you can't do that, support us in any way that you can. Share our episodes, like our pages, share the posts that we make on there. Betsy's in charge of the social medias. So anytime
I'm the manager.
She's the social media manager.
I'm Mr. Manager.
Because that's a job that people have and get paid for.
Yeah, I don't get paid for this. It's fine.
You can pay us, though. Anyway, so that is going to be the end of this one. We have one more Western to go. Western Wednesday rides on with one more next Wednesday. But Betsy, the next episode is going to be the third in our Nick Cage-a-thon. That's 3 of 5 for that one. It's a weird one. Don't yell at us. It's just the way it is. But yes, that is another episode of Never Seen It in the Bag. My name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
And we will catch you next time.
Yippee-ki-yay!